AITAH for playing a voice recording to prove to my friend her daughter isn't nonverbal? So I, 30F, have a friend, 34F, that has a nonverbal daughter. 3F, let's call her Allie. She isn't diagnosed or anything, but everybody says she doesn't talk at all. I watch her 4 days out of the week in my in-home daycare. Although Allie doesn't speak much around other adults, she communicates her needs to me very well and says small things to me frequently. Last week I was in the bathroom. I keep the door cracked so I can listen and make sure everybody is safe. And she walked by and said, You stinky." I laughed and told her mom what she said, and I was met with, "She isn't verbal, why would you mock her?" I reassured her that Allie has spoken to me quite a few times, and I thought that it was a huge milestone. She told me she didn't believe me, and that it was messed up that I would make up something like that to upset her. I told her that I wasn't trying to upset her, but I wasn't lying either, so I didn't press the issue further. Here's where I might be the AH. I decided to record Allie, a voice recording, not her face, telling me her name and what her favorite animal is. Fast forward to yesterday, she had a birthday party for her other child. At the party, I was socializing with other family members, and I mentioned the funny things Allie has said to me. Turns out the person I was talking to was her sister, and she started yelling at me saying, "She is nonverbal, why are you lying?" Both her and her sister start berating me, saying that it's fucked up that I'm making this up about Allie being verbal. At this point, I'm tired of being called a liar. I have 2 disabled children whom my son was nonverbal for many years. So while everybody was staring at me, I decided to prove my case and play the voice recording. Everybody was shocked, and my friend told me to leave. I told her I didn't want to cause issues, but I'm not going to be berated and called a liar. She said that I crossed the line recording her daughter, and that I'm an a-hole for embarrassing her at the party. Now I feel horrible and wondering if I should have just let it go. Edit for clarification. I have contracts that everybody signs when joining my daycare. There is a special needs section that she did not fill out. She also had never mentioned Allie being nonverbal. I only had her as a baby at a previous daycare, then hadn't heard from her mom until about 2 months ago. We only spoke over Messenger, but she never mentioned any diagnosis of autism or anything related to any special needs care. That's why I was blindsided by her reaction and claimed that Allie was nonverbal. I also didn't do the recording to embarrass her in any way. I was going to show her privately, then forgot about it until the party when I was backed into a corner. Honestly, I was scared and a little embarrassed about being called a liar when I knew I wasn't. But I used the recording as a way out of my situation, and I feel bad about how I went about it, hence the post. I will be putting cameras in my home that everybody will have access to. Peace of mind for everybody sounds good to me. Also, I will be making a call to CPS about the situation and see what they have to say. Thank you everybody for your kind words. I can't imagine what this child is going through, being treated like she's completely nonverbal when that's not the case. In fact, I can't help but wonder if the way her mother seems to react may have a part to play in why she's not verbal around her mother. That being said, you did the right thing trying to bring this to the mother's attention in a polite and calm manner. Her reaction was unreasonably abrasive, as any parent of a nonverbal child would be over the moon to hear that the child is beginning to make progress. I don't think recording the child's voice was in the wrong. You weren't posting it all over the internet. You weren't going behind the mother's back and showing people the recording. And you only did it after she berated you for lying, which wasn't the case. You recorded the voice to specifically try to update the mother on her daughter's condition, as having that updated knowledge is important. I would normally say it may have been a better option to ask permission to record the child's voice. But judging by the way you described the mother, I feel like that probably would have just led to more conflict in the first place. ETA. Also, she embarrassed you at the party, not the other way around. It's not your fault she feels embarrassed for not knowing her own kid better. This made my call CPS spidey senses tingle. What on earth is happening in that home that this child will not talk in front of her family? NTA. Why are they so fixated on the child being nonverbal like it's some kind of badge of honor? Are they getting some kind of benefits out of it? That is a bizarre reaction for hearing your nonverbal daughter speaking. I would be elated nor mad at the messenger. I wonder why they don't want her to speak. NTA.